All right, welcome back to the channel. So Shakur Stevenson goes in on Oscar Valdez and Jamel Herring have to be for ducking him and says, and I love how he repeats this line, man, because it is a direct shot at Top Rank, man. He said, dude, cats on the same side of the street as me is ducking me. And that's the truth. What's happening at 130 with Shakur Stevenson, not acceptable. Let's talk about that in this video. All right, welcome back to the channel. So before I get into it, we are talking about the 130-pound division. Specifically, we're going to talk about Shakur Stevenson, who is a former WBO champion at 126, Jamel Herring, who is the current WBO champion at 126, and Oscar Valdez, who is the WBC champion at 126 pounds. And he might actually have another belt, but definitely the 126-pound title for the WBC that he won off of Miguel Burchell, right? So, and then in that weight division also is Gervonta Tank Davis, even though I'm not sure, if Gervonta Davis is going to continue to fight in that division or not. Anyway, that is the weight division that we're talking about. And Shakur Stevenson, in my opinion, with the exception of Gervonta Davis, at 130 pounds, dude, he's a mega talent, man. He's a mega talent. He's with one of the biggest promoters in boxing. And he's saying, look, the guys at Top Rank don't want to fight me, right? Like in the situation where you have Errol Spence Jr. saying to Terrence Crawford, oh, man, you're on the other side of the street. I'm going to clean up my side of the street. Then I'll fight you, right? Well, Terrence Crawford is saying, well, all those guys are over there at the PBC on the other side of the street, and they don't want to fight me, right? That's the reason why this fight's not happening, okay? But you have a guy at Top Rank saying the same thing, another slick black fighter at Top Rank saying the same thing about fighters at Top Rank. Guys that clearly cannot beat him, finding just convenient ways not to fight him. I'm telling you right now, it looks like Shakur Stevens is getting Guillermo Rigondeaux over there. And it started from the beginning. Teofimo, I remember when Shakur Stevenson was interviewed by Max Boxing. This was about 2 years ago. He was interviewed by Max Boxing, and Max on Boxing, Max Kellerman. And he was complaining to Max Kellerman that, look, man, you guys are just promoting Teofimo Lopez. You're not promoting me at all. You're not, even when he went on the Max Kellerman show, they talked more about Teofimo Lopez than they talked about Shakur Stevenson. And it was clear that Teofimo Lopez was the star that they were trying to build. Now, that backfired on him because that star that they were trying to build realized, oh, you're building me into a star. I will take my star power and make a bunch of money for me. If you can't do the best for me with my newfound star power, hey, man, I'm out of here. That's what it is. However, at that time, Shakur Stevenson, doesn't fit the mold the Top Rank got, which is, no black fighters. I'm telling you, he's getting Guillermo Rigondeaux. Guillermo Rigondeaux was the best. Oh my God, an incredible fighter, man, who came in one of the biggest fights of that year in a few years, and probably the biggest fight to take place at 122. I don't know, maybe is it the biggest fight of 122 this century? Could be. Guillermo Rigondeaux versus Nonito Donaire. When Guillermo Rigondeaux mopped Nonito Donaire, what happens to his career? Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Sorry, we didn't want that. We want these other guys to develop. And yeah, we want you here to fight because you're a good fighter. And you bring in, but that's it. No superstardom for you. How many times have you seen that? You saw the same thing with Oscar De La Hoya and Floyd Mayweather Jr. in the 90s. Oscar De La Hoya was the golden boy in the 92 Olympics. And 4 years later in the 96 Olympics, Floyd Mayweather Jr. comes out. But there's just when Floyd comes out, despite how good he is, there's just just nothing for him. Sorry, nothing but hard fights. Because I swore for the first part of his career, I'm like, God, dog, is they trying to get Floyd beat? It's just tough fighter after tough fighter after tough fighter, right? But never was he ever treated as if his wins were legitimate, right? By Dougie Fisher and Steve Kim. All that stuff that we saw then is going to repeating itself with Shakur Stevenson. And where Shakur Stevenson is not getting these fights. As far as Jermell Charlo, now talking about the two people that were the actual fighters that we're talking about. The first one, Jamel Herring, that's just a duck move, man. That's just a duck move. If you're gonna say you got this WBO title and everybody worked so hard to be a world title, what an incredible story, coming out of the military, coming to, I suppose he started boxing late, winning his championship, and he's just gonna drop it. He's just gonna drop it to go fight for the WBC title, and he's not gonna defend his title against Shakur Stevenson, beat Shakur Stevenson, and then go get another belt. Jamel Herring wants to just drop this belt and go fight for that belt. Why? Because the guy he fights over here is going to beat him. Shakur Stevenson is going to beat him. So there's not going to be any other fight for Oscar Valdez. And if Shakur Stevenson goes fight Oscar Valdez, he's going to beat Oscar Valdez, and there ain't no belts for Oscar Valdez. And I'm pretty sure these people see that beforehand. And that's why they don't want the fight. It's ducking, plain and simple. And from Oscar Valdez's standpoint, why would Oscar Valdez accept that fight with Jamel Herring? Like that. Like, hold on, man, I'm going to fight you, but you're going to drop your belt to come over here? Dude, if I beat you, I want 2 belts. I don't want 1 belt, I want 2 belts. If you're going to drop it and come fight me, why would I fight you? You're just somebody else who dropped your belt. So if Oscar Valdez is entertaining that, then you know that is not Oscar Valdez, that is Bob Arum. Because there's no interest in it for Oscar Valdez to do that. Hey, man, think about it. If somebody's saying, hey, man, I got $100,000, you got $100,000, let's fight, the winner gets $200,000. That fight you might take. But if somebody says, oh, I got $100,000 and you got $100,000, let me leave my $100,000 over here, right? And then I'll bring 10 of it, and then I'm going to go fight you for your $100,000. What's the 10? The 10 is that you beat an ex-champion, okay? But the 90,000, that's over there with Shakur Stevenson, who has to win it off of a vacated belt instead of being able to get his whole 1,000 by whooping Jamel Herring straight out, right? It's just nonsense, man. So I'm telling you, I don't want to hear any of this nonsense about the PBC being the ones that are stopping fights with top-ranked fighters. When top-ranked fighters are stopping fights with top-ranked fighters. Flat out stopping fights with top-ranked fighters. Okay? I know it's happening over there at the PBC, but when 2 PBC fighters do it to each other, nobody jumps out there and says, oh, well, no, they'll say, oh, the PBC fighters are ducking each other. And the PBC fighters are ducking top-ranked fighters. Well, okay. Well, the top-ranked fighters are ducking PBC fighters, like Terrence Crawford refusing to fight Errol Spence Jr., and they're also ducking their own fighters, like Shakur Stevenson not being able to get a decent fight, even though that's a stacked division, and he's one of the best in it. But we'll get you a vacant belt we'll let him vacate the belt, and you take the vacant belt, Shakur. Not you beat Jamel Herring in an exciting fight that people in America would probably want to see and would do well on ESPN. No, fight some other trash can that nobody cares about, and your ratings are going to suck. Meanwhile, we'll have Oscar Valdez and Jamel Herring, and Oscar Valdez will beat Jamel Herring, and wow, we'll be selling Oscar Valdez again. Are you going to fight then? Oh, but we'll sell you the idea that after that, you'll get the Valdez fight. Sure, I will. Sure, he won't call for a fight with Gervonta Davis immediately like he's already done. Stop. Anyway, it is what it is. That's what I take. That's my take on the situation. You let me know what you think. And with that, I'm out. Peace.